Just when you thought all hope was lost, with the entire video game industry going into a death spiral, DEI and checkboxes, and people that had no idea what the hell they were doing when they were putting these games together, do we get a new developer by the name of Sandfall Interactive that completely revolutionizes the entire industry. And all it took was a team of 33 very talented developers, many of which used to work at Ubisoft of all places. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Expedition 33 is taking over the entire gaming world right now, and anyone that I interact with seems to be either playing this on their own free time or live streaming it to their audience, and every single person to a T has said they are loving every moment of it. And that's got to make you think, if this is so universally praised and everyone's thinking the same thing about it, including journalists, by the way, who are all on the same boat with this line of thinking, maybe it's about time we acknowledge the elephant in the room of how to make a successful game. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how Sandfall Interactive, the developers behind Expedition 33, are completely revolutionizing the entire video game industry, all from the house of about 33 people putting it together and making everyone turn their head. Anyone who's been paying attention over the past few years will tell you that the video game industry has been feeling a little bit too bloated, way too much soulless messes in the games, and at the same time being obsessed with live service cash grabs, microtransactions, and DLCs that nobody cares about. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 burst onto the scene like a lightning strike, and it's sending shockwaves throughout the entire industry for reasons that most people never even saw coming. Developed by Sandfall Interactive, a fairly new studio with just 33 extremely talented employees and ironically many ex-Ubisoft veterans, this game isn't just good, it might be the clearest sign yet to everyone that the real future of gaming lies in small, tight-knit, passionate teams, not being found within those massive corporate bloated machines like EA and Ubisoft and Square Enix. Like, there's a common trend between all these companies financially struggling when times go south. On their website, it says who we are. Founded in 2020 in France, Sandfall Interactive is a video game studio developing premium 3D games for PC and new-gen consoles. We believe the latest game-making technologies now make it possible for indie teams to deliver outstanding production value in a realistic 3D graphics style. With a focus on single-player experiences, we want to deliver incredible stories with intriguing characters in gorgeous fantasy worlds. We build the best pipelines we can to achieve this goal while keeping the creativity and agility of small teams. So just in their About Us section, it is laser focused on specifically the type of games they care about, what they want to work on, and why it's important to keep it small. Where big publishers like Ubisoft and EA have become bloated and stumbled, Sandfall has soared. Expedition 33 feels like a real return to form that gamers have been begging for. The single-player narrative-driven experience with stunning visuals, real heart, and unforgettable music score within a world inspired by European Belle Époque art movement. And this isn't the return to form like, oh man, Dragon Age the Veilguard is a return to form to Dragon Age, or Assassin's Creed Shadows is a return to form to Assassin's Creed. It's a return to form to what makes games great. Small, tight-knit development teams that harken back to the early 90s, even the late 90s and early 2000s, where it was pure passion carrying projects to get to the finish line and everyone having the same goal united. They weren't just chasing trends, it was never about checking diversity boxes, and it's not at all about begging for any kind of microtransaction. No, this is a pure, immersive escapism experience, the very spirit that made gaming magical back in the day in the first place. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 on X announced that they have sold 500,000 copies in the first day of launch. For a new IP, I cannot underscore just how crazy that is. A new IP from a no-name company selling over 500,000 copies while at the same time also being day one Game Pass. That is insane. In just one day, Expedition 33 has outperformed every Ubisoft game launch from the last 2 years on Steam. It sold over 500,000 copies despite launching day one on Game Pass, and it has completely embarrassed the AAA live service games formula like Skull and Bones and Star Wars Outlaws that has exponentially, ridiculously larger budgets and team sizes. Paul Tassi on X said, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 may be the highest user score game ever. And perhaps the greatest irony with all of this, Sandfall's CEO and creative director, Guillaume Broche, was once a part of Ubisoft itself, working as an associate producer and narrative lead before leaving to build something much better. This is a team that clearly knows exactly how bloated and broken the old system is, and they ventured out to choose a new path. And that new path must have been pretty scary if people were working in the AAA industry at a cushy job with a consistent paycheck coming specifically from Ubisoft, for example, and venturing outside of that and taking the leap of faith to join an entirely new video game company with no guarantee or promises that any of it would have worked out. Ubisoft currently employs nearly 20,000 people worldwide, yet the sheer amount of corporate bloat has never been more obvious. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was built by a tiny team of passionate developers, and it has already surpassed Ubisoft's bloated, high-budget projects like Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game that has been rumored to have cost anywhere between $350 to upwards of $800 million to produce. And this is on the launch weekend. Expedition 33 coming ever so close on Saturday to the six-figure concurrent player amount, reaching 98,591 on SteamDB, compared to Assassin's Creed Shadows that has a peak concurrent all-time player count of just 64,825. But the comparison that will really blow people away is when you compare this game to South of Midnight, which is a similar styled AA studio underneath Microsoft with plenty of supposedly talented developers working on that game and being day one Game Pass, reaching an all-time peak of 1,438 people total 14 days ago. And comparing that to Expedition 33, where it's getting close to six figures, 100,000 concurrent players. Both games, day one Game Pass. The only difference being is one of the games is an incredible overall experience for the end user that, let's be honest, is more tailored towards what gamers want to actually be playing. Which is a staggering reminder that throwing endless bodies and money at a project never guarantees quality, and in fact, might be the very thing that kills creativity and any kind of genuine innovation. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 isn't just a success story, it's a proof of concept for the entire gaming industry. Small, hungry teams that can now crush corporate giants. Using tools like Unreal Engine 5, smart pipelines, and sheer creative passion, the indie spirit is finally breaking out, capable of matching, and oftentimes these days, even surpassing billion-dollar corporations. This could be the start of a total industry shift away from safe checklist-driven game design, away from microtransaction-infested, unfinished live service garbage, and towards rich, complete, handcrafted experiences built by teams who actually care. They wake up in the morning, they get dressed and go into work, excited about what they're working on, making something new and unique to the industry, that very same industry that seems to all too often be rehashing the same idea over and over again for the sake of the safety net of, hey, it's a product people heard about, so let's make another sequel to it. How about we be original for once? Hey, it's amazing what can happen when you have some talent. In other words, the cream is rising to the top, which I could argue is the way it should be. Sandfall Interactive's vision is now the new gold standard for the video game industry. If massive studios like Ubisoft, EA, Activision, Square Enix, and so many don't wake up, they all risk permanently being left behind for leaner, smarter teams that deliver what gamers actually want. In Ubisoft's case, many, including myself of course, could argue that that proverbial ship for saving them has already sailed, but at the end of the day, this is the proof of concept, the blueprint that companies should be following if they want to survive in a very challenging, rough water, harsh, dog eat dog world the game industry is. And here we see people harkening back to the early 90s, even the early 80s in some cases, with a smaller team built on passion and talent to make something truly unique that stands the test of time and honestly is one of the best experiences I've played in a long time. I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link this in the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing here, please consider hitting that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. I'm already putting this game as #1 best soundtrack of the year so far. I'm not even in, like an hour into it. I love it. This is amazing. Smash!